Hello, fellow DMs, Dungeon Masters. I want to talk to you about how to make your game, how to be as a DM easier, how to like de-stress you. You know, and this is all about the stats, armor class, hit points, bonus saves. Uh, what's their attack? Skill. What's their what's the save difficulty class? And all and all the different stats you got. And you can have all your monster stats out, but you really don't need any of that. And here's how to just get you to relax into being a DM. It's just you need to think of it very in the most simplistic terms. For instance, like I had another video where I said easy spell casting villains. So it's very easy to just throw a spell at them that's just based on a condition. Like um, 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 blinding or prone. You have vines hold them, and it's just you just think of it in the sense of the characters and their levels. If they're first level characters, right, you're gonna kind of make everything a DC 10 ish. Give them a chance, DC 10, and difficulty class 10 saves, whether it's a dex save to get out of something, a wisdom save to resist the spell, you know, constitution save, whatever, strength save to break open the vines and get away, whatever it is, and the conditions, blinding, poisoning, all that. It's very simple to just think of it as a DC 10 kind of save. That's all you really need to do when they're low level. And as they get to third level, do it at DC 12. It's a little tougher, the poisons, but of course they're going to have more. They're going to have their own little bonuses and resistances to that stuff and their saves. And you can do the same thing for like traps. Like in my last adventure, they wanted to do something I wasn't expecting, so I just quickly made a tunnel with a mudslide and spikes at the end. And I made it kind of hard, DC 15, very narrow, just DC 15 decks. That's it. Boom! I had a trap automatically, and there's spikes at the end, and 2 dice 6. I mean, it was a little tough on them because they were first level. I wanted to make it very harrowing and scary because there was one troll at the bottom. He was a young troll. Now, so you just quickly make up things. You make up pit traps really quick. All it is it's a perception thing about traps, and then it's an avoidance type thing about traps. Avoiding it with a leap or a jump or a reaction. With the dex, usually DC 10 for low level, DC 12, DC 15 as they get to 5th and 6th level, DC 17 as they get higher level. These traps are getting better, and of course the characters have try to resist more. So it's just that kind of simplicity that you need when you think about things like that, traps and stuff. Now you do want to, with traps, you do want to have it so that there's countermeasures, there's a way to get around them, and if they come up with something interesting, let them, or let them have an advantage, or let them, make it so that they feel rewarded when they figure it out. It doesn't matter if you make the perfect trap that they can't get around. Don't do that. Let them get around it somehow. Let them be creative. And then just keep throwing more traps at them. Just have fun with that. But let them always have a creative way to get around it, or do something that sounds maybe. Now it's completely absurd, but guide them in a way that makes it not so absurd, or be creative in that. Another thing and just keep it simple. Think of that the difficulty class of 10 or 12 or 15 or 17 or whatever, based on their levels, and and obviously if you can make it a little tougher on the first levels, and get it to 14 or 15 like I did with the mudslide thing, because they slipped through down and hit the spikes, and it was a simple trap that the troll made, but they saw it immediately. I made it easy for them to see it and see that it was a slide. I didn't even have them roll. It was obvious, and then but then one of them, the barbarian, wanted to go down, so he went for it. So I didn't, you don't need to you don't need to go to the Dungeon Master book to look up a trap. You just think of something simple and play it out with that, again, with a perception, sort of like, say, how well is it hidden? DC 10, so low level, DC 10 perception. And then of course how to avoid it, DC 10 dex or DC 12 dex maybe, and then the damage. So damage for traps, or even for creatures. Even you look up creature stats if you just understand the basics. So for low level, think of most creature attacks as 1 dice 6 plus 1. That's the goblin scimitar attack, or sword attack, and you can do that for any creature. Spikes or whatever, spear or whatever they're doing. you know, it's kind of in the range of 1 die 4, 1 die 6. And then as you get to, you know, you get up to hobgoblins and orcs and bugbears, you go 1 die 8, 2 die 8, whatever, 1 die 12, you know, plus this and that. And so there's that simplicity as far as doing damage. And then as far as attack modifiers, okay, so think of it like +3 at first level, +3, +4 maybe. And then mid range is +4, +5. And then when you get higher, +6, +7. That's it. That's how basic that is. Armor class, you can kind of just, the armor class you can kind of have fun with. You can just, you know, around 15, right? If it's a big brute that doesn't have any armor, make it a 12. So they're easy to hit and damage, but they got a lot of hit points. But if it's a little goblins, you know, fight 15, and orcs who might have more armor on them, 17. So that's very simple. You can get, you know, just pick a number that you think makes sense. If they're really, you know, adorned well like a knight or a cryptic tomb knight or whatever, you make them an 18, 19, 20. So again, you don't have to worry about having these lists of things. And then hit points, that's simple too, right? 7 or 8 hit points at low level, you know, 10, 12, 40-ish as you go up, and you know, that kind of thing. And same with XP. XP is like 50 to 100 at the beginning, 3 to 400, 5, 6, you know what I mean? 7, 800 as you go up. You know, it's basically like that. For XP. What else? Oh, and then special skills. Give them, you know, give them a little fun something. And it's the same as a trap. You think of it as like, well, if they have a special skill, let's say, I like to do grapple. I like grappling. Let's say a zombie. And obviously in Monster Manual, zombies don't have a grapple. But to me, you know, that's the trope of a zombie's grabbing you and then biting. So I like them to have a hit, and then there's a grapple save. Grapple save, 10 dex or strength. And if they save, they avoid the grapple. But if they fail, then the zombie gets an additional bite in that round, you know, or in the next round, it gets a really strong, good attack with a bite, like a +6. And I give, you know, and then I give them, and maybe the character has a disadvantage to attack. I don't like to add too many penalties. I don't like to add a bonus to the monster and then a penalty to the player. It's either one or the other. So he gets a good, zombie gets a good bite attack, like a little stronger bite attack. But if he succeeds at that, maybe it's not as much damage, but it does, or probably is actually. Yeah, I think I do have, you generally have, because it's scary getting a zombie bite, right? And then you're infected with the zombie disease. And then they got to save versus that. And that makes it all more exciting. Oh my God, because they're, you know, that makes zombies even more frightening than, obviously they're weak, but the frightening thing is that they're going to bite you and disease you. And I make a disease like a disease 12, or I would even make the zombie disease like a 15 or 17. You know, low damage, but 15, 17, and then 24 hours later becomes zombie. So then now they got to deal with that. You know what I mean? And that's a, you know, remove disease, curse, whatever. So it's that simple. You just think of something. You can think of it if you're familiar with just the basic stats, you can just come up with it on the fly very easily. So it's just, you know, the armor class, like I said, it's the attack bonus in that range, you know, +3 for low level, +7 for high level, and in between. I give them a little extra fight condition, or you know, like you know, if you know they're gonna have a sneak attack, you could just do that. I mean, you want to have I do have a few in my head as far as different little skills that, you know, monsters will have. I love the grapple one. I love, you know, them being able to sneak around. The goblin-y kind of disengage bonus action type of thing. You know, I like charge. I like charge and knock them prone and kind of stuff. To me, charge, a lot of creatures will use charge and try to knock someone down. And if they do, they get an advantage to attack them the next round, kind of thing, if they're still down. So I like stuff like that. So just, you can keep it that simple. That works for like inherent spells, right? That creatures or shamans have, because they're not learned. They don't learn all the typical spells in the player's handbook. They probably just have their own little curses and stuff. It's the same thing. Just use a DC class to save, and then whatever the condition or damage is. And then, so that's for the spellcasters. For traps, for monsters, it's that simple. Just keep it simple like that. You know, have some notes. Have a little diary of what you want. You know, low level creature, maybe some whatever. You know, but you don't have to you know, with little skills, but don't fret having like, "Ugh." I mean, if you just understand those basic concepts, you know, of armor class, strikes, damage, and then conditions and feats, and a couple of skills like that, just those basics, you can kind of come up with anything on the fly without having to worry about, you know, having to open books and access all that stuff. But it's still, I mean, I still love all that stuff and have them all, and then you kind of get ideas. But again, if you can just relax into those basic concepts, then you can just kind of come up with whatever on the fly, creatures, NPCs as well. And same with NPCs. As long as you kind of understand the basics of the NPCs, it works the same as well. You don't have to create an entire NPC character with all the stats and stuff. Oh, and then saves. So last thing, saves. So for goblins, I give them like a +2 for dex saves, and then everything else is -2. You know, orcs +2 for dex saves and strength saves and con saves maybe, or like a +1 maybe, and then -2 for everything else. You know, that's just that basic kind of save categories like that. And then that's it. You don't have to really look at, you know, you have to go and look at what their con save is or what their wisdom save is. Just, it's kind of like in that little +2 plus -2 range, obviously. Okay, so that was my daughter taking off. Okay, so that's all I got, just to help you relax into being a DM. Just relax and think about those basic concepts. Okay, so basic concepts. DC, just difficulty class. Just pick one. Pick it based on the range of the characters. 10 for, you know, maybe 5. You can even go to 5 if you want, or 8 if you feel like, to save. Damage is 1d6, 1d4, 1d6 for creatures or traps or whatever. So difficulty class, damage, armor class. I think you can kind of vary that based on what you think. Saves plus for creatures, you know, +2 for physical stuff, depending on what kind of creature, strength or dex, con, and then -2 generally for everything else, unless, you know, unless they're really brainiacs or whatever. What else are I talking about? Pit traps, you know, difficulty class to see it, difficulty class to avoid it, and whatever the condition is that it affects you. Same with easy spell casting, same thing, difficulty class to save, or they just do a little +3 at, you know, acid. Oh, I like to do that too with some creatures, like I did fire newts, and they didn't have any. I wanted them to have like a hot spit, so I added that to when I was playing Tomb of Annihilation to the fire newts. I just gave them a little 1 per day hot spit, you know, 1d6 or 1d6 burn, and there's a +3 attack. That's it, you know. So that's it. Just wanted to let you understand that you can just quickly come up with these ideas on the fly and keep it simple and have fun. As long as you're moving it along, they're having fun, and you know the players are having fun. All right, that's my little bit of easy DM newbie or experienced advice for you.